Hello and welcome to the True to Life podcast, and you're joining in for episode 26 with this very special interview episode with my roommate Connor Chan. Ironic, this is awesome. We're actually in our room right now for the YouTube viewers. This is gonna be a really cool episode. So Connor is a cross country runner. He also runs track. I met him at Holy Names last year actually, and we knew each other, but we never really had time to sit down and talk and get to know each other that much. So this is especially cool that we'll have the time to sit down and have this conversation. But we're roommates, so for a lot of the time we're in here. So This is gonna be a really cool episode. So we're gonna dive right into it. So Connor, you're a cross country runner. How'd you get into cross country? Because a lot of people don't like running. So how did this happen?
So actually, I've before cross country, I played 10 years. It's been a long time playing baseball. I started off with that. I've played since kindergarten, since I was 5. And, you start growing to love the sport, but it got to a point where it was too much for my mental. The competition got too high, for even the high school level for me. So, when I went to the high school level, actually the team or the school didn't even have any baseball team or no clubs. So I actually joined cross country and track. I had a couple of my friends join as well from other schools, but honestly it's been a journey where you think you found your sport, but honestly another blessing comes in and now I'm here. It's been a journey with a lot of running and a lot of
put a lot of miles on those legs.
All those miles, all those summer training. It's crazy. But yeah.
I mean, obviously, so cross country being an individual sport where you're kind of running yourself, obviously collectively, the points are tallied as a school or a team. But when it's just you out there all alone, you're running. For me, that's what I'm so fascinated about is kind of the mental side of running. So I'd love to talk about that a little bit in this episode. Is you're out there mile 5, 6, 7, 8, however long you're going. How do you keep the mental piece going, one foot in front of the other, and just keep going?
Yeah. So actually, I've talked with my mental coach for cross country, Kim Neal. Honestly, she's a great person to talk to about overall just ending the workouts. Where, how are you feeling? Are you checking in pretty well? Are you being physically there and mentally there? Because sometimes you're just out there running, but your mind goes off into a different space.
You mentioned that how when you're out there running, it was just your mind almost goes blank, which is kind of a cool feeling, but can also be a little scary because you're really not really there. But you can explain that.
Yeah, so it's you kind of just drift off into your own mindset where it kind of just turns off, and I love that feeling because honestly, it's just putting one foot ahead of the other, where I'm just soaking in the surroundings and just putting in that mileage where it's it feels rewarding afterwards to be wow, I really did 10 miles of this. That's insane. Or just doing a workout where you feel you should be running slower actually, but then your times relate to a faster time.
Running is one of the main exercises because ironically enough, I don't know if I've mentioned this on this podcast, but I actually ran cross country in high school.
Yeah.
And I remember, getting out of school and we were just running 3, 4, 5 miles. I don't think we don't really run as much as you guys in practice. The most we ever did in practice was 5 or 6 miles. But I remember that feeling of the mental side and the endorphins that you'd get, just those brain chemicals at finishing the run. It felt so rewarding finishing a run. And you look on your phone, you can see your route and everything. It's a rewarding feeling, finishing a run, and something that, cross country, it's a very, unique sport in that way that it's just you. You can go out and get a run in any time. You don't have to rely on anyone else, and you can just go, and it's just you versus you every time. It's really cool.
I mean, that's why I love this sport. I can just run out of the dorm basically and just clock in some miles and not do anything. But it feels very rewarding. Like you said, it's just anyone can actually just run and actually enjoy the sport. I see a lot of hobby joggers out there, just even at HNU. There was that Oakland Track Club working out at Piedmont High School where us HNU athletes were just a small group of guys and gals, and just putting in that workout as well. But honestly, props to like anyone else that's an adult and doing those like 9 to 5s or doing their own business. But like if they can get that run into, like, hats off to them. Like I wish I can do that too.
No, absolutely.
After collegiately. So
Yeah. I mean, so coming from HNU, now you're here. How's the transition been for you? And also kind of comparing the team atmospheres, like the people on the team from there, like what differences are you experiencing so far?
Honestly, just because it's like a bigger team. You know, like we have a full roster this year. Last year at HNU was kind of difficult because we only had 5 guys, and with those 5 guys, like you need everyone to be there. Otherwise, you have to pull someone from another team. But it's that sense of like reliability with others this year. Just because like we have more flexibility now. I love the resources out here. Coach has been
For sure.
great and amazing. And I mean, the transition here is like actually first it's kind of tough, but I mean with you being my roommate, honestly, it's like it made it so much easier.
No, I thought about that too. And we can talk a little personal here too. I don't mind. Yeah, no, it did. It helped with the transition. Like already it was smooth because the schools are pretty similar.
Yeah.
But we're both student athletes and we want to get to bed at a good time. Get up in the morning, be productive. I mean, it's worked out really good. It's helped with the transition for sure. I can definitely agree with that.
Yep.
So at what point did you know that you wanted to compete collegiately for cross country? I mean, at some point in high school, did it click for you like, oh yeah, I really want to try to do that? And how is that getting connected with schools? I'm not really sure how it works for cross country. So how did that work?
So actually, like during COVID, so that was like my senior year. So I didn't really have a senior year to compete, but thankfully that was like a blessing in disguise for me, where I actually joined College of San Mateo, where I did junior college there for 2 years. 1 year athletically, my freshman year where I just did complete academics. So I had some personal training by myself. Did that with my high school friends, my high school coach, and then my sophomore year, that was where I really like locked in on like, this is where I should be. I want to be at this level, and I actually want to compete collegiately, because it was like that atmosphere was like very tense, but it was also very rewarding to think that if I can handle this, sky's the limits here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because we had this like dog mentality because we were the Bulldogs.
Oh,
but,
yeah, that's awesome.
It was great though because my head coach at CSM, he was D1 at UC Davis, but phenomenal sprinter. But he always like drove in that mindset of you have to have that dog mentality, championship mindset, last rep, like you gotta blow it all out,
I think that's applied to every sport. It's cool. It's no matter what, you see that as a recurring theme for athletes.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it was kind of like our last chance before conference where we needed a time to compete for a conference within the junior college. So fortunately enough, I ran a good time in my 800, and one of the coaches from Holy Names pulled me over, and we just had a talk about, hey, like we see you being on the team, and this is the possibilities on what could happen. And honestly, just went through there.
That's awesome.
Just had the visit, and talked the financial aspects of it, and then that eventually just led on to here.
Yeah, I know. It's funny story that how that all transpired. Yeah, no, I think that's really awesome. I mean, going the JUCO route freshman year, and then academics all freshman year, so you got to experience that part of college to the JC, and then then diving into the collegiate side of it, and now transferring to a 4-year, now to another 4-year. It's been a crazy journey for you. So. Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Kind of that like journeyman type,
Yeah, no, I mean you've been now, this is your 3rd school, and
yeah.
Hopefully you can finish things out here and move along with your life. But
yep.
Yeah, the journeyman.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Okay, so your schedule as a cross country student athlete, what does it look like for you? Take us through morning time and how you balance like the school side of things, as long as you also get your runs in. You guys got to lift on some mornings. So what does your schedule look like as a collegiate runner?
Yeah, so with that, like for examples, our Monday and Wednesdays, we have those 6 a.m. practices,
Oh, yeah.
So wake up at 5, get ready, put on those short shorts and then put on the hoodie on.
Just staring at those shoes for about a couple minutes in the morning. Am I really about to go and run right now?
Exactly. No, and then meet up at Conlin Gym, group up with the guys and gals and see what we have to do. And then after that, we do our post lift with Coach Matt. And then afterwards, I have work. I actually work at the bookstore. So that goes like boom, 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 like straight away. Like, so I have to switch off this athletic mindset into like the retail mindset. And then after that,
make sure you got to upsell those shirts. Got to get those sales in.
Yeah, that marketing stuff. So
yeah.
And then afterwards, class until like 4 p.m. It's kind of draining, but like that's just part of it. Got to get that money in. Got to get that academics up.
And you got to get your run in.
Exactly. And then after that, I have to do some community service parts for my classes at 9 or late night. So, but that's usually like those busy days. My Tuesdays and Thursdays are pretty mellow, get my morning run around like 7 a.m., meet up with some of my teammates, and then head out to class and then have work. And then that's about it. Like, and then, it's pretty chill.
So one thing you're speaking to here, and I'd like to circle back on it only because it's one of the big premises of this show, speaking to, student athletes and also just busy people living their lives in general. You list off a lot of those things that you go through during a day. What's worked for you in terms of organizing that to make sure you can achieve that day and just not feel exhausted and burnt out at the end of the day? Because oftentimes people with busy schedules, they wake up and they're just chasing their whole day, as opposed to having it scheduled and layered in a way that you feel like you're just knocking things off like one by one, but you feel fulfilled and accomplished and not burnt out at the end of the day. So what's worked for you and, not absolutely feeling burnt out?
Yeah. So like those, like those breaks between. So I like to have those down times.
You really use them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take those like 15-minute naps if you have to. Honestly, like you might feel like, hey, like I don't need this nap right now, but you'll feel it like halfway into work or halfway into class, like I need this. Pack those snacks. Like you need to feel up your body to feel like, hey, I can actually like listen to the class. And but no, like I like to emphasize my downtime though, because I don't get that a lot on my busy days. I like to go on TikTok, go on Instagram, just go on my social medias, get connected with outside of sports and academics and all that stuff.
I like that, using that time to really 10-15 minutes recover yourself and then get back into it. I like that. So honestly, what my takeaway would be is if you have a super busy schedule here, make sure to input those that 10 minutes, that 15 minutes into your schedule so you have a minute to regroup. Because sometimes, look, I think it was Caitlin, actually, Katie.
Yes.
She's a huge fan of the show, was on the show. She put this on her story. It's, if you don't put breaks and rest into your life, your body's going to force you to do it somehow. Through like a mental burnout, you're going to be super stressed out and you're going to be just miserable. So it's like you got to plan ahead with that. And I think that's what you're speaking to here is it's really smart. Because sometimes like I'll come back and you're on your bed, you're showered. And that's like one of those times where you're just like maybe using, getting yourself ready. I think that's like so important because, I'll be honest here. When we're true to life, we're being true to ourselves and authentic. I sometimes am chasing my day. Like I'm running behind. I even have my Google Calendar. I made a solo pod about that. It was great. The Google Calendar is big time.
I love that one because I've been using Google Calendar now.
It's super helpful for scheduling, right?
Yep.
So I'm chasing. I'm at practice. Then I'm going to eat. Then I'm back here, and you'll see what I do sometimes. I'm coming. I'm grabbing something. Then I'm off again. Now I'm back. I'm just running in and out, and I'm not taking that time, and I think it's super important to do so. So I'm personally taking notes right now, so I'm going to be implementing this. So I suggest those listening do it the same.
Yeah, no, I love, because it's all those like mental refresh too.
Absolutely.
Because you're gonna have that workhorse mentality of like, if I can do all this now, like you can do this in the work field too. But it starts adding up, because once you start going like halfway into the season where you are burnt out, now it's like, well, now it's gonna bite you.
And you're playing catch up.
Yes.
100%. That was very, very good insight. I love it. Yeah, so the scheduling and management is huge. What do you do what does a recovery day or an off day look like for you? And when you have like a full day off, how does that look for you?
So I like to reflect on like my Fridays. Those are like usually my day offs, kind of those easy
Reflection
days.
Friday.
Yeah. Just kind of like see what I did throughout the week and what I can do with that next week actually. And kind of just say like, hey, like how can I make my Mondays better? How can I improve on that? Like, hey, like can I make a meal in between this time? Can I bring a snack or can I actually just have some more downtime?
So taking that Friday and looking back at your week and seeing how you can tweak it to make it better, constantly improving.
Yep.
I love that.
Obviously, dude, gotta go 1% every single day.
The 1%ers.
Yep.
Oh, that's brilliant. I like that. Reflection Fridays. I might have to get. So is this something that you're writing down, or is that something you just do as a mental exercise?
Just a lot of those mental notes because you have in those like you have those like clock-ins of like, oh shoot, like class starts now.
Yeah, that's
it's like so with that, can you like with you today, like you were trying to rush in to get breakfast.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, since I'm there early, like I can help you out to get that food early, so that way you can fuel up before your class starts.
No, that was smart.
Right.
I'll be honest, I was like 5 to 6 minutes late to class today because I was trying to prioritize my rest because I know sleep's very important in recovery. But as I was trying to get to the cafeteria to, get a little omelet before I go into class, the grill was backed up and that made me late to class. So that was a very bad example of, planning ahead. But you're right to use, ask you for the help there. That'd be smart. And that would be a mental note that I would take and then make next week better.
Yeah. It's just like, how can I make my other day better for the next week?
The daily 1%ers.
Exactly.
So I'm curious, what is the longest run you've been on?
Man, oh gosh. I believe it was in high school. It was during the summer. So I was trying to get better to become in the top 7 of the team.
Yeah.
Because top 7, they go to state, they go to regionals. So I did there was like this one day. It was like my sophomore or junior year.
Yeah.
And I like to get there early. I'm gonna be honest. I get there at 8, while everyone else get there at 9. So I get 6 miles before everyone else. Then I do about 10 or so with the team.
Oh my gosh!
And then afterwards, I was like, I really racked up 16 miles today. But what I'm gonna do when I get back, walk my dog, and then do another 3 more miles. Oh, so I did about like 19 or 18 miles.
Oh man!
Yeah.
So you go and get the 6 miles in on your own, the 10 with the team. Yep. Talk to me about when you're doing that 10 with the team. Is there a slight mental edge that you have knowing the fact that you are out there keeping up and you already ran 6 miles on your own?
Yeah, because it's like that mentality of just like, I'm here working before you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've shown up an hour before all y'all.
Giving you that edge.
Exactly. And it's like, you guys aren't going to do the same that I'm going to do. Despite like, hey, like you're faster than me, but I'll be there like before you guys put in that work.
Look, that's like the sneaky competitiveness that some people have. You know what I mean? Because there's obviously basic competition in like baseball or soccer where you're actively trying to score on someone or things like that. But taking that mental competitive edge where you're there, you're trucking along on mile 7 of the 10 with the team, but you're on mile 14, 15 because you already started. Like that has to play into confidence that you carry over.
And that actually kind of showed like in our high school team where we had those like in season stuff. So like at tracks, like at track practice actually, where we had just like a bunch of guys that actually want to work, and we had those 20 minutes in between like class and when practice was starting. So we did 2 miles before everyone else did, and they were like, y'all are crazy, but that's how you get better.
No, absolutely. It's like me getting in the gym and getting shots up, and then everyone walks into practice. Oh, and then I'm getting shots up after practice. It's those little feelings that give you that mental edge.
Exactly.
I'm glad you shared that. So what is one run? And I'd like you to pick a different one than the one we talked about just now. that really stands out to you as being like really difficult? Like it was a mental hurdle. It was a strain to push through, because there has to have been some that stand out.
Definitely like any of those like College of San Mateo workouts where my coach Burns, absolutely drilled us on like Monday and Wednesday's practice, because those were track workouts where it was insane. We did one workout where it was like 4 by 350 meters, all out, and then right as you finish, walk over, then you start it up right again. Yeah. As a distance runner, I mean, I have some speed, but when I tell you like I wanted to puke after like set 1, it was real. Like I thought I was gonna pass out that day, and because it was like super high, it was like 90 out, but that changed my mentality of like, do I really want to be in this sport, or do I actually like enjoy this?
That question is pivotal. I think every athlete hits it at some point. Yeah. And you make that decision. Do you want to go all in or not?
Exactly. Yeah. And then I finally locked in. I was like, you know, you got to just suck it up. Like you can't drop out now. Like you already got yourself into this.
It's a defining moment.
Of course. Yeah. But yeah, I think that workout was like definitely the one that stood out to me, because I think that defined me now.
I love that. I have a quick little side question. So College San Mateo, Holy Names, Dominican, which school that has had the hardest workouts? Ooh. You know what? Actually, we'll do a game. You rank them. Okay. From top to bottom. Let's hear it.
All right, for sure. I think now College San Mateo ranks up top there.
Really? So take note there. Yeah. JUCO can sometimes be harder than the 4 years in terms of the work. It's a doghouse in JUCO. All my friends that are at junior colleges, teammates that have been JUCO, have said this, that JUCO is a real grind, no matter what the sport is.
It's real, because they want you to be in there collegiately. So you got to have that collegiate mindset. Otherwise, you're just a glorified high school athlete. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, if you're just there for fun, like, don't joke around, because there's actually people fighting for scholarships out there. Yeah. They want that. Like, they want to be those Absolutely. D1s. So to be there, to have that mentality, it's like crazy. Because although my coach was a sprint coach, he didn't know much about long distance, but he built me that mentality that I wouldn't gain from like H&U or Dominican. Cause that's cool. Because by then, once you're already in the collegiate level, you're already locked in, because you have that dog mentality.
Bro, this is the first time I've sat down with Connor. He's talking about dog mentality. Like, this is awesome. Wait, so what were after College of San Mateo, what were the other two?
Gosh, I think Dominican now.
Oh, really?
Dominican has like, we have those long workout days where it just goes boom, boom, boom. But like you kind of just like zone out and like, oh man, like I'm already done.
The zone out. I'm very fascinated by the zone out.
Yeah, it's that like lock. It's like your brain just like goes off. Clicks. And it's go.
And then H&U.
Yeah, H&U was like, I'm gonna be honest, like it was.
It's okay. You're allowed to speak truly. The school is completely shut down and it's dead. So you can say whatever you'd like now.
But yeah, I mean, H&U was like, it was a good experience, but the workouts seemed a little, it seemed a little too weird to me, where I wasn't like gaining the full potential. I think
your coaches are not going to run you. You can speak very honestly.
Anthony Lozano, when I see you at East Bay, bro, like I'll be on you. But
that's awesome. Send this to him. Send him this clip. No, say it for real. That's awesome. Speak your truth.
No, but it was a good experience though. But it was just, being like first year like collegiately, it was all right. But this is better.
Worst case scenario. This is how I've tried to view my time with H&U. Mm-hmm. With that dog mentality, with that, balancing the school side of things, coming out of high school, going there, just using that for what it was, right? Give you some collegiate experience. And now I'm here where it's a little bit more of a real college environment. Yeah. Our practices are, more physical. They're a little bit longer so far. We haven't even gotten to full season yet. And I'm like, wow, this feels different. All the guys are super bought in and locked in, and it's just a whole new vibe. And H&U, exactly what you just said. It gave you a little bit of collegiate experience, and now you get to finish that experience here, hopefully.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always like asking guests this question. Mm-hmm. If you could go back in time and give your younger runner self, so that's either it can be high school or even your San Mateo days, what would you like to tell that Connor to just this is what I know now, and passing it down to you again. Do things differently.
It's just that, like, never give up, because, like, there's times where you actually want to, like, quit and, like, don't do the sport anymore. But it feels very rewarding to see that, hey, this is what you're at now. And don't ever forget that, because these tough times before, it'll translate into success. And thankfully I'm just here now to, like, compete and just get one more chance to make my name out here. So,
yeah,
just stick along with it. Don't think otherwise. Don't talk down to yourself. There's always going to be people with you, even though they're only there for a short time. But that's why I love it, though.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
You sure this is your first time on the pod, man? Look at you. You just laid out, like, the blueprint right there. That was amazing. Yeah. I love that. So you're a good student, obviously. Yeah. And what are your tips and tricks to achieve in the classroom? Because I'm really big on the classroom. That's one of the reasons why I'm here today, is really focusing on getting good grades and trying to learn as much as I can. So speak on the classroom side of things.
I like to be in the front of the class.
Hear that?
I'll always be there, because when Deion Sanders said that, I was like, I got to do that too. But
front of the class. Guilty as charged.
He's in the back?
For whatever reason, I think it's because some of these classes have been a little bit tricky at times, that I've been kind of in the back. My professors this year is just a lot of hour 40 minutes of just straight lecture.
Yeah, I feel
it's not really engaging. So I've had a hard time and grappling with that, and I'm gonna speak a little bit more at length in this, like another solo pod episode. But it's been a tough adjustment. So I maybe getting in the front might actually help. So I might actually have to implement that. Yeah. Please continue.
So I also like to wear, like, any Dominican stuff, anything that kind of corresponds to, hey, I'm an athlete. I'm responsible for myself to become a student first, athlete second. And, you always have to put yourself out there to know that the professor knows that you're engaged. I like to relate to my cultural anthropology class, because I sit in the front, but sometimes when the class is silent, I like to chime in a little bit.
Yeah, you should get involved.
Joke around a little bit, but also know what you're saying as well. And then, when there's, like, those lecture times too, you can sit there and soak in, like, what's happening, because, at the end of the day, you're like, we're all tired. We're all done with, like, practice. We're all done with weights. But, it's just putting yourself out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Funny thing, it popped in my head. I'm just gonna share it. Right as you were saying the "Are you tired?" thing, I imagine Jason saying, "Are you tired?"
Bro, oh my god. Never mind.
A quick shout out to Jason. From HNU to here, he works in the cafeteria. Great dude. He always asks you if you're tired. Every morning, every night, anytime. Are you tired? Hey, Nanik, are you tired? Hey, Connor, are you tired? So, sorry, that's why I chuckled a little here on the side. That's what I was thinking about. For you, what does studying look like? And how does that fit into the schedule? Is that a set time that you set, before the week, before the day? How does it look like, to make sure you're achieving and, have time to get your work done?
Yeah, I like to, so when I do, like, my assignments, I like to highlight, like, whatever vocabs or terms that are used for the chapter. So I like to do that, but luckily, like, for most of my classes, we have to do, like, discussions or, like, forum post.
I like those a little bit better, more engaging.
So, like, I would have to actually look through the page, look through the terms, and relate back to what we're talking about. So I do that while, like, I'm studying.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But it's like you take those notes in your head, like, oh, like, this is what it is. And you kind of just, since you're typing it out, like, that's my studying. So
yeah, no, I like that. I think it's different for everybody, but as long as you have that time set aside,
yeah,
for sure. So this is the last question I want to ask you before we go to my quick hitters.
I love those.
Yeah. So I really liked what you're tapping into of what you would have shared to your younger self, but now I want you to take a step back and speak more broadly to a student athlete listening, or just any person listening. of something that you've learned along your journey that you would just like to share with this world? Who knows who's listening? You never know who's listening. I think that's so beautiful about this platform and, this product I've been working on. Product is in podcast. You never know who's listening. So just something to share out there to the world.
Yeah, I mean, never put your self on the spotlight, because otherwise you're gonna have your negative times. And I mean, I believe a lot of student athletes put themselves in that spotlight where
Put a lot of pressure on themselves.
yeah, like you think all the coaches are looking at you, all your teammates are looking at you down, but just know that people are around you looking and striving for the same goal. I believe that everyone should build each other up, and like I said, just have that dog mentality of never back down and never give up.
I love it. Drop the mic, man. That's amazing. All right. So first off, it's been absolutely a great conversation. So I really appreciate your time. To close out with some quick hitters, what is your go-to post-meal run? Like your post-run meal. Sorry, I said that backwards. Yeah.
I love me some good instant noodles though.
Okay.
So sometimes my stomach gets a little upset, so it needs something warm, but also it needs something starchy and some carbs in there. So
Yeah.
I love some good spicy noodles.
This isn't one of the ones I had written down, but what about pre-run? What does that look like for you?
Pre-run. Sometimes I just like to eat half a granola bar, something
Quick.
quick, but if you're waking up 5 a.m. like me, it's hard to fit in something.
Yeah.
And to digest that and get a workout in. Is that gonna go well?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Would you rather run on the beach or in the mountains?
Ooh. See, because I've done both. Because I'm from Pacifica.
So what's better?
So man, that's a tough one. I like to.
We're experiencing a quick dorm. There's an alarm going on. I'm not sure if it's a fire. All right, I think a fire alarm's happening. We're gonna have to pause this episode. We're gonna pause the episode real quick. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Super sorry for that, interruption. For real, just right here in the dorms, the fire alarm started going off. This is, part of the things about just being in a dorm, trying to, produce a podcast. So super sorry about the delay, the interruption. Just want to finish up episode because we are pretty much closing up here. So thank you for staying with us along the ride. So Connor was completing his answer of running on either the beach or the mountains, and he, living in Pacifica, has experienced both. And please continue on your answer on that.
Actually, looking back at it now, I think I like running on the beach.
Really?
But not those sandy parts of the beach, but kind of those dirt trails that
trails
trails by the beach.
Absolutely.
Because I love where the coastline kind of hits it, and you feel the sea breeze, but it's also cooling too while you're
running on the sand is also just kind of tough.
It is tough because oh man, putting your feet up, I'm
but the trail is absolutely next to the beach.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. We have some of those beach trails that goes up to the hill and up on the mountain. Beautiful. Love it.
All right. So my last quick hitter for you is going to be, what's one place in the world that you would like to travel to? It can be anywhere.
Because I've been to a lot of Asian countries.
Okay.
I've been to Taiwan. I've been to Japan.
Yeah.
Been to Hong Kong. But, even though I haven't been to Europe, I don't know if I would go to Europe by myself. But I think one place I would like to go to, either South Korea or Singapore.
Ooh.
Because I like to go back to those
out of the country though. Try to get as far away as you can, just experience other things.
Mm-hmm. Soak in those other Asian cultures. I love that. Or even India.
I must go to India.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually working on that, a family trip at some point. But yeah, India is definitely on my list.
Nice.
So. I love that so much, Connor. Thank you so much for the time. Pardon the interruption. That was really kind of crazy, but you had great insight, and as a runner cross country, really, really enjoy being able to sit down with you in this format and actually get to know. And I didn't realize you had such a competitive, dog mentality with the running. That is honestly really cool. So I'm glad I was able to sit and experience that a little bit with you. Connor actually has a race tomorrow. This episode is going to be available tomorrow. So if you can, please just check out this, check out his journey too. All of his, socials, things are going to be in the description. Hopefully, Dominican goes out there and crushes in Davis. And yeah, we're wishing Connor good luck out there. You have any, little closing words before we wrap it up?
I always mention this, but gotta keep that dog mentality out there.
That's the quote.
Dude, that dog mentality will take you a long way. If it took me this long in my journey, it'll take you further. So trust me, just have that mentality out there. That's all.
I'm tuning that loud for a moment. Absolutely. Dog mentality, it was mentioned multiple times. Real big deal here. So again, thank you so much for hopping on the episode in the dorm room. Very special. Please like, follow, share the podcast. Just keep supporting like you already have been. Thank you so much. Really love making these interviews happen. And if you have concepts or ideas you want to hear more on the show, please DM me directly at True to Life Podcast or individually at Nanik Tagore on Instagram. I'd love to spark some conversation there and keep helping influence and guide student athletes out there. Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.